My name is Lila Thompson, and I've always been the kind of woman people admire before they truly know me. I'm confident, well-spoken, independent, and I don't shrink myself to make others comfortable. I built my career on discipline and intelligence, not favors. I dress well, I carry myself with pride, and I've never needed validation from anyone, especially not from my family. At least, that's what I used to believe. From the outside, my family looked perfect. Two parents who loved to show off success, a younger sister who played the role of the golden child, and me, the reliable one, the one who never asked for help, the one who was expected to understand, to compromise, to step aside quietly. That truth didn't fully hit me until the night everything changed. We were on a family trip to California, something my parents had planned months in advance. A luxury hotel near the coast, ocean views, marble floors, the kind of place where everything smells expensive. My parents had insisted I come along, saying it was time for family bonding. I paid for my own flight. I paid for my own expenses. All I expected was honesty. When we arrived at the hotel, the front desk agent smiled politely and asked for our IDs. My parents handed theirs over confidently. My sister stood beside them, scrolling on her phone like she owned the place. Then it was my turn. The agent frowned at her screen and looked up at me again. "I'm sorry, ma'am," she said carefully, "but I don't see a reservation under your name." I smiled, calm and composed. "That's strange. We're together." The agent looked uncomfortable. She glanced at my parents, then back at the screen. "I only have 2 rooms booked. They're reserved for family members, listed here." I turned toward my parents, waiting for them to correct the mistake. They didn't. My mother avoided my eyes. My father cleared his throat and stared at the marble floor like it had suddenly become fascinating. Before I could say anything, my sister laughed. "Well, yeah," she said, smirking. "We just reserved rooms for real family only." The words hit harder than any slap ever could. I felt every eye in the lobby on me. The front desk agent froze. A couple behind us shifted uncomfortably. My parents said nothing, not a single word. That's when I understood everything. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't argue, I didn't beg. I simply nodded. "Oh," I said quietly, "then I'll leave." I picked up my suitcase, turned around, and walked out of the hotel without another word. I could hear my sister laughing behind me as the doors closed. Outside, the ocean breeze felt cold against my skin. I stood there for a moment, processing what had just happened. Not the lack of a room, not the embarrassment, but the realization that my own family had planned this. They knew. They always knew. I got into a cab, gave the driver an address to a small boutique hotel a few miles away, and turned my phone on silent. I didn't check it for an hour. When I finally did, there were 56 missed calls. From my parents, from my sister, from numbers I hadn't saved. I didn't call back. Instead, I checked into my own room. Simple, elegant, quiet. A place where I could breathe. That night, as I sat by the window looking at the city lights, something inside me shifted. I wasn't angry. I wasn't crying. I was done. You see, there was something my family didn't know. For years, I had been quietly successful. While they were busy underestimating me, I had built a career in corporate consulting. I worked with hotels, luxury chains, investment groups. I was flown in to solve problems, restructure management, and improve guest experience, including the very hotel they were staying in. The reason my parents had gotten such a good deal on those rooms, my recommendation. The reason the hotel manager had personally approved their reservation, my name on a report. And the reason they suddenly started calling me an hour later was because the hotel manager had just received an email from me, a very calm, very professional email. I didn't mention my family. I didn't mention the scene in the lobby. I simply requested a review of staff conduct, reservation ethics, and guest discrimination concerns. By the time my family realized something was wrong, it was already too late. My phone buzzed again. This time, I answered. "Lila," my mother said quickly, her voice tight, "where did you go?" "I found another hotel," I replied calmly. "Why didn't you answer your phone?" my father snapped. "I was busy," I said, "just like you were." There was silence. Then my sister's voice cut in. "Did you complain to the hotel?" she asked sharply. I smiled. "No," I said. "I just told the truth." Within minutes, their rooms were reassigned, not upgraded, reassigned. The ocean view disappeared. The complimentary services vanished. The manager requested a meeting. Suddenly, they weren't special guests anymore. That night, my parents showed up at my hotel. They stood in the lobby, awkward and unsure, like strangers who had forgotten how to speak to me. "We didn't mean it like that," my mother said. "You know how your sister is." I looked at her calmly. "No," I replied. "I know how you are." My father tried to take control of the conversation. "We're family," he said. "You shouldn't embarrass us like this." I laughed softly. "You embarrassed yourselves. I just stopped protecting you." My sister crossed her arms. "You always think you're better than us," she snapped. I stepped closer, meeting her eyes without flinching. "No," I said. "I just finally realized I am." The next morning, I checked out early. I didn't say goodbye. A week later, I received a message from the hotel's corporate office thanking me for my feedback and informing me that changes had been made to their reservation policies. I forwarded the email to my parents. No message, no explanation, just the truth. Since that day, my family doesn't mock me anymore. They don't laugh at me. They don't try to put me in my place. They learned that silence isn't weakness, and walking away isn't losing. Sometimes the strongest revenge is dignity, timing, and knowing exactly who you are. I'm still Lila Thompson, confident, independent, and no longer available for disrespect.